Hey everyone, big news! How to Train Your Dragon is coming back in 2025 as a live-action remake. Yeah, you heard that right. The beloved 2010 DreamWorks animated classic is getting a whole new spin with real actors, real dragons. Well, CGI dragons, but in a live-action world, and a fresh take on the story we all grew up loving. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So before we dive into this new version, it's the perfect time to revisit the original film, unpack why it's such a timeless classic, and get ourselves ready to see it come alive in a whole new way. Whether you're a longtime fan or a newbie, this ultimate rewatch guide has you covered. Grab your helmets and let's jump right in. Revisiting Berk, from animation to live action. First off, let's remember the world of How to Train Your Dragon, the rugged Viking village of Berk. In the 2010 animation, Berk was a beautifully detailed, handcrafted world, full of wild landscapes, cozy homes, and, of course, those ferocious dragons. What's exciting about the live-action remake is imagining Berk as a real place. No more cartoonish exaggerations. Instead, we'll get to see breathtaking real-world scenery, immersive sets, and probably some epic CGI blending with real environments. This could give the story a new level of realism, making the Viking lifestyle and their struggles with dragons feel even more raw and intense. Hiccup, the underdog. Viking goes live now. Who's ready to see Hiccup come to life? In the original, Hiccup is voiced by Jay Baruchel, the awkward, inventive, kind-hearted kid trying to prove himself in a world that values brawn over brains. The live-action Hiccup will be an entirely different experience. Seeing a real actor portray his awkwardness, his determination, and his growth could bring a whole new depth to the character. You'll be able to catch every subtle look, nervous smile, or moment of doubt up close, and that's something animation can only hint at. It's a challenge for the filmmakers, but if done well, it'll make Hiccup even more relatable and real. Toothless, from CGI animation to realistic dragon. Okay, this is probably the biggest question on everyone's mind. What will Toothless look like in live action? In 2010, Toothless was a CGI marvel, expressive, playful, and practically a character without words. For the remake, the filmmakers face a tricky balance, making Toothless believable as a living creature that exists in a real-world setting while keeping all the personality and charm that made him so beloved. We can expect jaw-dropping visual effects to create Toothless, but it's the animator's challenge to preserve his emotions, those subtle eye movements, playful quirks, and the unique bond he shares with Hiccup. I'm hyped to see if they can nail that mix of realism and heart. The story we know, but with a new twist. The core story of How to Train Your Dragon is one of friendship, courage, and breaking down prejudice. Hiccup, the misfit Viking, befriends a dragon, proving that the monsters everyone fears are actually misunderstood creatures. For the live-action remake, I'm curious if they'll stick closely to the original script or take some creative liberties. Live action often means more room for gritty drama, deeper character arcs, or even expanding the lore of Berk and the Dragons. Whatever happens, that heartwarming message of empathy and acceptance has to stay front and center. It's what makes the story so timeless and perfect for a modern audience. The realism factor, what live action brings to the table. One of the biggest appeals of a live-action remake is realism. The gritty, tactile feel of real costumes, practical effects, and actual locations could add a whole new layer of immersion. Imagine Viking armor that actually looks worn and battle-scarred, the weight of axes and shields, the wind whipping through your hair as you ride a dragon for real. These are things animation can't fully capture, but live action can. At the same time, the filmmakers have to balance realism with fantasy, because dragons aren't real yet. So how do they blend believable human drama with magical creatures? That's the exciting puzzle of this remake. Casting speculations and what they mean. Casting in a live-action remake is always a hot topic. Who will play Hiccup? Who's the new Stoic, Astrid, or Gobber? The actors chosen will bring their own interpretations to these iconic roles. Their chemistry, performances, and how well they embody these characters could make or break the remake. Personally, I'm hoping the casting directors pick actors who really get the heart of the story, people who can bring warmth, humor, and a bit of vulnerability. Because that's what How to Train Your Dragon is all about. The Visual Effects Challenge. Dragons in the real world. Let's be real. The dragons are the stars of the show, and CGI dragons in live action can be hit or miss. The original animated dragons were so full of life because the entire world was animated, so nothing felt out of place. But in live action, CGI dragons have to blend seamlessly with real environments and actors. If done right, it can be jaw-dropping. Think The Jungle Book or The Mandalorian, where CGI creatures feel like real characters sharing the screen. If done poorly, though, it breaks immersion. So fingers crossed for some top-tier VFX magic on Toothless and the rest of the Dragon Gang.
I said stop the fight!
Music and sound, keeping the spirit alive. John Powell's iconic score for the original is unforgettable, from the soaring flight scenes to the emotional beats. The music brings everything to life. I'm really curious whether the live-action remake will reuse Powell's themes or commission a new soundtrack. Either way, the music needs to carry that same sense of wonder, excitement, and emotion to connect us with the story in a whole new medium. Why rewatch the original now? With a remake coming, now's the perfect moment to revisit the 2010 film. Not just for nostalgia, but to really appreciate the story's heart, characters, and world before seeing them through the lens of live action. You'll notice things you maybe missed before: the little gestures, the humor, the themes about family, acceptance, and courage. Plus, it'll make spotting the changes and updates in the remake way more fun. Fun behind-the-scenes facts from the original. Before we go, here's some cool trivia about the 2010 animated film that makes it even more impressive. The animators studied real animals like owls and horses to make Toothless's movements believable. Jay Baruchel recorded his voice acting while watching early animations to capture Hiccup's emotions perfectly. The flight scenes were inspired by the freedom of flying, and DreamWorks went all out with sweeping camera work and dynamic angles. It's a reminder how much heart and craft went into making the original so special.
Here it comes!
What we're hoping for in the live-action remake. So what are your hopes for the 2025 live-action How to Train Your Dragon? I'm hoping for a strong emotional core that respects the original story, stunning visual effects that bring dragons to life realistically, great casting that truly embodies the characters, a fresh but faithful soundtrack, and maybe some new twists or world building that add depth without losing the magic. Let's chat. What are you most excited about? Okay, now it's your turn. What excites you most about the live-action remake? Are you nervous, pumped, or a bit skeptical? Do you think Toothless can look believable in live action? Which actor would you want as Hiccup? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from fellow fans and theorizing about what's next. Our nerdy thoughts. All right, friends. That's your ultimate rewatch guide to How to Train Your Dragon 2010 in light of the 2025 live-action remake. It's a story full of heart, courage, and groundbreaking moments that still hold up today. Revisiting it now will make you appreciate the magic even more when we see it transformed into a live-action adventure. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more movie content, and ring the bell so you don't miss future updates as the remake gets closer. Thanks for flying with me today. Until next time, keep your dragons close and your spirit soaring.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.